Hello, student. I'd like you to like and subscribe to my channel. Today, we are going to be looking at coordinate geometry, so for the word coordinates. So basically, coordinate geometry usually talk about the points on the Cartesian, that means on the graph. So, for example, I have these 2 points here. This first point here, the x coordinate of it is 4, while the y coordinate is 3. So you can say that if this is A, this point that is here, if it is A, the coordinate is 4, comma 3. Why this particular point here, the coordinate is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The x-axis is 7, and the y-axis is 5. So you can call it 7, comma 5, comma 7. So the coordinate, so if this is B, that is the coordinate. So when I talk about the Cartesian plane. So things that we're going to be talking about on a lot of subtopics under this thing. For example, the first thing we'll talk about the length, the distance between these 2 points. The distance between these 2 points is going to be like you are finding the area of a triangle. They don't find it like this. Rather, they find the distance between this place and this place. So for the thing to form a triangle, they make the distance between A and B, the y coordinate of it, and the x coordinate of it. They will now use it. Finally, do things like Pythagoras theory, and actually the formula also used by Pythagoras theory. Okay, so let us begin. So the first thing that we are going to be looking at is that distance between 2 points, also known as length between 2 points. So the distance between 2 points, d is equals to square root of change in x squared plus change in y squared. And when we are changing x, we are changing x is equals to x2 minus x1. And changing y is y2 minus y1. So if you want to put it in a full diagram or a full formula, you say that distance is equal to square root of changing x squared. Most of the time, you can say changing y squared first, because many of the things that we do in Cartesian plane, we usually start with y. So x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. If you look at this looks like Pythagoras theory that says that a square is equal to b square plus c square. So this is how you do. If you are checked, the whole thing is also going to look like triangle. For example, if you are asked to find the distance between these 2 points, these 2 points. So it's going A to be 2, comma 3, and B, sorry, to be 3, comma 7. You want to find the distance between them. This becomes your xy, and this one becomes your y1, x2, y2. So the formula says changing y over changing x. So d will be equals to 3 minus 2 square plus 7 minus 3 square. which will give you square root of 1 square plus 7 minus 3 whole square, which will give you square root of 1 plus 16, which will give you square root of 17. Square root of 17 will be your answer. That will be the distance between these 2 points, point A and point B. So the first thing that I learned today, the distance between 2 points, which is distance is equals to square root of changing x, which is x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So the next thing again is the midpoint. Midpoint between 2 points. Obviously, for it to be a midpoint, there have to be a 2 point there. So the midpoint, the formula for finding the midpoint on a graph is x2 plus x1 all over 2, comma, y2 plus y1 all over 2. So this is how it's going to be. For example, the example the midpoint between A, which is 2, comma 3, and B, which is 4, comma 7. The midpoint will be 2 plus 4 over 2, comma 3 plus 7 over 2, which will give you 3, comma 5, the midpoint. This midpoint is important that you know them because we are going to be making use of them later, the midpoint. Okay, so we have learned the distance between 2 points and formula for finding the midpoint. The next thing we are going to be looking at is slope slash gradient. They all mean the same thing. To me, I used to say that gradient is how bent the line is. And the gradient is denoted with letter M. And the formula is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So the formula for finding the gradient of a straight line is y2 minus changing y over changing x. So when they ask you to find the gradient between these 2 points, for example, find the gradient between these 2 points. So you'll be like, okay, A 2, comma 3 and B 4, comma 7. So these are the 2 points. You want to find the gradient between these 2 points. A 2, comma 3, B which is 4, comma 7. The gradient should be changing y. Remember, M is the gradient, which is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So what we'll do now will be y will be 7 minus 3 all over 4 minus 2. 7 minus 3 will give you 4, and 4 minus 2 will give you 2, and the gradient will be 2. So the gradient between those 2 points will be 2. So that's the formula for finding gradient. Now that will take us now to straight line. We are going to solve question straight line when we are done. Straight line. Now, straight line can be in form of y is equal to mx plus c, or ax plus by plus c equals 0. So in this one, where m is gradient and c is y-intercept. The word intercept means where the line crosses the y-axis. That is what the c is. So that is when it's in this format. The same thing applies to this. A, B are variables. No, the x and y are the variables. Y, the A, B, and C are the coefficient variables. Y, C is the constant. So that is it. Now, finding the equation of a straight line, there are actually 3 formulas that I practically use in finding it. I divided it into 3. I call the first formula 1 point formula. The second one is 2 point formula. And the third one is y-intercept formula. So I can use any of this to be able to solve it. The 1 point formula is when you are given a gradient and 1 point. The 2 point formula is when you are given 2 points without gradient. And the y-intercept formula is when you are given a gradient and a point, you just find your y-intercept. I'll put it back in the formula. So let's look at it one after the other. I'm going to give you the formula for the 3 of them. For the 1 point formula, 1 point, that means when you are given a gradient and a point, the formula is y minus y1 equals to m in bracket x minus x1. This is a general formula that is known. Even when whether you want to use 1 point or 2 point formula, once you find your gradient, you are good to go. The 2 point formula then. The 2 point formula. The 2 point formula is when 2 points are given, like I said initially, is y2 minus y1 over s2 minus x1 is equals to y minus y1 over x minus x1. If you look at this question, this particular formula is gradient. So indirectly, you are saying that gradient is equals to y minus y1 all over x minus x1. You can still use this particular one to find the equation. This is actually what gives birth to 1 point formula. Because if we cross multiply, we are now going to have m in bracket x minus x1 equals to y minus y1, which is exactly what we get as our 1 point formula. Meaning that whether you use 1 point formula or use 2 point formula, you are meant to get the same thing. Okay? So why the last part is this formula y is equal to mx plus c. So when you have the value for the gradient and you have the value for the 2 points, you can now find this y-intercept. When you find the y-intercept, you can put it back in the equation and solve it, and you get what you are looking for. We are going to solve. I'm going to solve 1 or 2 questions relating to this. Then I will make another video on perpendicular and the parallel, perpendicular and parallel. So, which question that we going to solve on this part? We are going to solve, we're going to pick a question, then we solve them on this one. So, what? Okay, we solve the question. Now let's look at the first question we are going to solve it. Look at the first question we are going to solve it. Remember the formulas that I've taught you. The first question is this. They say find the equation of a straight line with the gradient. So they are giving you two equations of the straight line. One has gradient. They ask us to find two equations of straight line. One have gradient and the point. One does not have gradient and a point. So if I want to do number one, number one will be y is equals to mx plus c, where m is 2, and a point is given, a point which is equal to 4,7. So I'm going to use two of the formula to solve it. So remember the 1 point formula say y minus y1 is equals to m in bracket x minus x1. So if I apply the formula, y minus y1 in this point is 7. Minus 7 is equals to, m is 2 in bracket x minus 4. Then you simplify it, y minus 7 is equals to 2x minus 8. And you have y is equals to 2x minus 8 plus 7. Y is equals to 2x minus 1. Now, this will be your equation of a straight line when you are given the gradient and a point. Another way I would have solved that particular question is this. If I'm given y is equals to mx plus c, I'm given what the m is, which is 2x plus c. I can use the point 4,7 to find my y-intercept. Since y is 7, I have 7 is equals to 2 in brackets 4 plus c, which should give me 7 is equals to 8 plus c, which should be 7 minus 8 equals to c, which is minus 1 equals to c. Just like what we got here at the end. So you can now write your equation to be y is equals to 2x minus 1. So any of the method that you use to verify it, we are going to get static, just like what we saw here. So that is the first one, when you are giving a gradient and a point. Now let's look at the second question. The second question, we are given 2 points and you are not giving gradient. So how do we solve that part? So what do we do? Now, as usual, again, use the formula I called 1 point, 2 point formula. You can use 2 point formula, or you can just find your gradient. Gradient, which is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And y2 in that context is, I'm using this 2. So I will have minus 4 minus 8 all over 1 minus 5, which will give me minus 12 all over 6, which will give me minus 2. Minus 2 will be my gradient. So if minus 2 is my gradient, I can actually use any of the points. Using 1 point formula again, I'll get the same answer. So if I use any of the points using 1 point formula, which says y minus y1 is equals to m. In this case now, m is minus. Okay, m in bracket x minus x1. Now let me put the numbers there. I'll have y1 of which number I want. I'll use minus 5 and 8, minus 5, 8. Okay, I'll use minus 5 comma 8. If I use that one, I have y um, minus 8 is equals to minus 2 in bracket x minus 5. So it close the bracket. So we having y minus 8 is equals to minus 2x minus 2x minus 10, because this will give us plus, but the minus outside will still convert it back to minus 10. So we now have y is equals to minus 2x minus 10 plus 8. This should give you y is equals to minus 2x minus 2. Now, this is another equation that you have got. So, equation of straight line is a very straightforward and easy equation to deal with. Easy equation to deal with. So we solve one more question. So we solve one more question. So look at this question again. The one I'm going to show you now is when we find equation, equation of the point. Okay. Let's see how it will work. Now, you are given this to solve. Let's look at how we are going to solve that particular one. This is just a simple find the middle number. Look at this question. It said the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment AB are this. Find the value of P and Q. So we are given that the midpoint of A and B is this 2.5 or minus 6. We know the formula for finding the midpoint is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. So this is the formula for finding the midpoint. And we know that A is minus 5 from 11, and our B, this is our A, and our B is PQ. Now they ask us to find the value of Q. You just need to use application and common sense to solve this. I know that minus 5 plus P all over 2 will give me 2.5. So I will now have minus 5 plus P to be equal to 2.5 times 2 will give me 5. So I'll have P to be equal to 5 plus 5, P to be equal to 10. So if that is the case, I can do the other part. When I have, I will have 11 plus Q all over 2 is equal to minus 6, which will give you 11 plus Q equals to minus 12. And then you have Q to be equal to minus 12 minus 11. So your Q will be equal to minus 23. So you can now say the B will be 10 comma minus 3. And that's it. That will be your Q. Is this not nice? Okay, I'm going to be uploading another video. That place I'll be talking about what happens when there is a relationship between more than two lines. If they are parallel, what happens? If they are perpendicular, what happens? Thank you for watching the video. Okay.